Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh. Wa na'udzu billahi min syururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. May yahdihillahu fala mudhillalah wa may yudlilhu fala hadiyalah. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarikalah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim wa barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim fil alamin innaka Hamidum Majid. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Amma ba'd. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, all praise be to Allah. We praise Him. We ask for His help. We ask for His forgiveness. We seek refuge with Allah from the wickedness of ourselves and from the badness of our deeds. Whoever be given by Allah guidance, then nobody can be misguided for him. And whoever be misguided by Allah, then nobody can be a guider for him. I bear witness there's no God worthy to worship except Allah. Only Him, no associate for Him. And I bear witness that Muhammad is His messenger and His servant. Oh Allah, give good prayers upon Muhammad and the family of Muhammad. And give good prayers upon Abraham and the family of Abraham. Oh Allah, bless upon Muhammad and the family of Muhammad. And bless upon Abraham and the family of Abraham. Verily you are most worthy of praises and more exalted in glory. Today, inshallah, we're substituting for our Sheikh. For he will only coming back, inshallah, tomorrow. Tomorrow, inshallah, his class will be on. So actually, like always, NMC Q&A. Last week, if not mistaken, we informed that the question last week is concerning about whatever after Ramadan. You know, you come into Ramadan, you fast, you go into prayers all night long, and many things, good deeds being done in Ramadan. But like being said by last week, is actually the thing about Ramadan is not the Ramadan itself. Ramadan is like a training camp for you to know exactly what is the value of your time to be given in worshipping Allah. Is that when you enter Ramadan, fasting all day long, remembering Allah Ta'ala, and at the night you pray the Qiyam Ramadan. So also reminding you about Allah. So your reminder about Allah is actually continuous all day long, even in the night. But the problem is whenever a person go out from Ramadan, then the question will become, what after Ramadan? Because we know that some people go into Ramadan and they they're doing everything there in Ramadan, forgetting that Ramadan is not the objective. Ramadan is not your goal. Your goal from Ramadan is to make sure that you become a pious person, to have piety, fear towards Allah. Because in the end of the ayah that Allah Ta'ala command us to fast in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse number 183, Allah Ta'ala said in the end of the ayah when Allah said, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O people who have belief, O people who have belief, kutiba alaikumus siyam, is obligated upon you the fasting, kama kutiba alal ladina min qablikum, as being obligated upon people before you, la'allakum tattaqun, so that you all may have piety or fear towards Allah. I mean, that is the objective. So the Ramadan itself is not the objective. That's why the scholars advising us by saying kunu rabbaniyin, be a person that worshipping Allah, worshipping the God, worshipping God, Rabbani, all the way, always. Wala takun Ramadaniyin, don't become people who worship Allah only in Ramadan. So Alhamdulillah, maybe that topic being covered. Okay, Um, because there's no new question, so I want to share with you one of the principle concerning when you learn about Islam. You must be careful about some people throwing some ideas to you that may divert you from the real teaching of Islam. Because we actually in at Khaadem on Thursday, we have been visited by two youngsters. One is the one male and one female. The male is actually the one that throwing the question to our Instagram, asking about how to answer a few things related to his friend, the girl. That's actually she have the idea that following Islam means that you follow the Quran only, not following the teaching of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's actually because the Quran being sent down to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it is the guide. But like being said, the guide is there, like you have a rule and everything. So sometimes few words or few verses in the Quran is not understood by you. It's not understood by you directly. Even the Arabs, you know, when the command of Allah came to them, like when the Prophet ﷺ explained to them a few things. Actually, because they are Arabs originally, so they don't have any problem in Allah Ta'ala send down to them the Quran in Arabic. So most of it is actually being understood directly because they are Arabs. But happen like in the hadith narrated by Bukhari and Muslim, that when the verse 82, verse number 82 of Surah Al-An'am, cattle, the surah they're talking about cattle, Al-An'am, verse number 82, being sent down, the ayah read out, Alladhina amanu, those who have believed, walam yalbisu imanahum bidhulmin, and they do not mix their belief with an oppression. Ulaika lahumul amn, they are people who will get the peace from Allah. Allah will make sure that there will be peace in this world and the hereafter. When this ayah sent down to the Prophet ﷺ, he recite that ayah. As an Arab, the companion try to understand it directly. You know, the word zulm, oppression or tyranny. They don't understand it. If you listen to that ayah, those who have belief and don't mix up their belief with oppression. We understand the word oppression or dhulm, means that you making somebody, you oppress somebody, you hit somebody, or you take the property of somebody. You don't do just to another person. That is the understanding about oppression. But the companion, when they listened to that ayah, they understood it the other way. They understood it as the oppression, doing oppression means that doing sin. Okay, how did they understood that? They understood that meaning zulm as doing sin, because in the ayah Surah Al-A'raf, verse number 23, after Adam and Eve ate from the forbidden tree, you don't know what actually being eaten by them. In the Quran, it didn't say fruit or root or leaf or stem, because actually when you eat from a tree, sometimes you eat the fruit, sometimes you eat the leaf. Like when you eat salad, you are eating the leaf, and when you eating the like carrot or potato, it's actually you're eating something from the root. You can relate. So it's actually being mentioned by Allah. What did Adam eat? The thing that being ate by Adam and Eve? So anyway, after they did it, then Allah Ta'ala already forbid them from doing that. They pray to Allah. Allah Ta'ala inspire him to say, he and his wife to say, Qala, because is it hot? You want the aircon? Qala, verse number 23, Al-A'raf. Qala, both of them, Adam and Eve, they pray to Allah, Rabbana, O our Lord, Zalamna anfusana, we have oppressed our own self. Zalamna anfusana, we oppress our own self. Means that we did the sin. We did the sin. Zalamna anfusana. Yeah, okay, you can say it in front. Yeah. Zalamna anfusana. We oppress our own self. Mean we did a sin. Wa illam taghfir lana, if you don't forgive us, wa tarhamna, and you have mercy upon us, lanakunanna minal khawasirin, we will be from among those who lose everything of this world and hereafter. So in that particular ayah, verse number 23, Surah Al-A'raf, the word oppression, oppression in that ayah, zalamna, we oppress, is not the meaning that we understood. I oppress somebody, I took his money, I hit him, I don't do just. That is the original meaning that we understand. But in that particular ayah, verse number 23, the meaning of zulm is doing sin. So the companion of the Prophet, when the ayah 82 of Surah Al-An'am sent down to them, they understood it. Alladhina amanu walam yalbisu imanahum bidhulmin. Actually, I go into this topic because there's no new question, but I think that this particular things that I want to discuss with you is actually so important, because we've been visited last Thursday by a girl who doesn't believe in hadith. She doesn't want to know the hadith. She said that Qur'an is complete. So I want to give you an example that even though the companion, they are Arabs. So in understanding the word zulm, Zod, Lam, Mim, the word in original meaning oppress, to do unjust. So in the ayah 82, verse of Surah Al-An'am, Allah Ta'ala said, Alladina amanu, those who actually already believe, walam yalbisu imanahum bidhulmin, and they don't mix up their belief with oppression. Ulaika lahumul am, they are the people that will get peace from Allah. So the companion, when they hear the ayah, they understand the word oppression of doing sin related to ayah number 23 Al-A'raf. Sorry if I give you too many information, because sometimes we try to ease up. But because this thing is so important, I want to give you an example how the Prophet ﷺ explaining the Quran to his companion. And the companion, even though they are Arabs, sometimes they wrongly understood the ayah. So the ayah 82, when being sent down, the companion listened to the ayah and they understood the word oppress means to do sin. So they came to the Prophet ﷺ, kneeling on their knee, saying, "Oh Prophet of Allah, we cannot follow this ayah because it's so hard." And they said, "Wa ayyuna la yuzlimu nafsah." Which of us doesn't oppress his own self? Means that who among us will not do any sin? Sin will happen from you towards your family, if you have married person, husband and wife, towards your children, towards your parent, towards your friend, towards your neighbor, will happen. You cannot run away from that, because Allah Ta'ala give us that notion when he put the story of Adam. Adam and Eve was in paradise, getting everything. Allah Ta'ala said to him and his wife, don't go near this one tree. If Adam can be distracted and be deceived by the shaitan, the iblis, how can we say that we are safe? How can we say, we are safe, we are with Al-Khadim, insyaAllah, no shaitan will come to us? No, don't ever think like that. I always pray 5 times a day. I go to the mosque. Clearly, you wrongly understand. Because you know that when you want to pray, the Prophet ﷺ taught us to seek refuge with Allah from the shaitan. Because the shaitan will come to you. You will not running away. Because he will come to you and making you thinking about other than Allah. You're going to say that, no shaitan coming inside the mosque, the holy place. No, nothing, no shaitan there. Don't wrongly understand anything that in Islam. Because sometimes you wrongly understand, then you say that, how can I be deceived? I am inside a mosque, the grand mosque of Mecca. How can I be deceived? You know that Abu Jahal, Abu Lahab, all the people who actually fighting the Prophet when he was conveying the message, all of them was inside the mosque. All of them inside the mosque. How can you say that no shaitan will come to me? You know, they are inside the mosque and fighting the Prophet ﷺ. So think really hard about that. So the companion said, which of us will not do any sin? Because Allah Ta'ala said in that ayah 82, Suratul An'am, that peace will only be given to those who have belief and doesn't mix up their belief with any zulm, any oppression. But the problem is they understood it as sin, doing sin. We will understand the word oppression by taking the belonging of others, hitting others, do unjust to others. That is our understanding. The companion understand that ayah, Alladhina amanu walam yalbisu imanahum bidhulmin, those who have belief and doesn't mix up their belief with an oppression. They understand it. Those who have belief and doesn't do not do any sin. So they came to the Prophet kneeling and said, oh Prophet of Allah, this ayah is so hard for us. Because which of us will not do any sin? Which of us? Everybody will do sin. So the Prophet ﷺ correcting them, saying that it's not like what you understood. Don't you listen to the saying of the pious, good servant of Allah in Surah Luqman. Luqman being named a surah after him. The scholars actually have difficulties to understand whether he is actually a normal person, good person, saleh, or he is a prophet. But anyway, Allah Ta'ala recorded for us in that Surah Luqman verses containing his advice to his son. To his son. That is the best if you actually parenting, to look into what is the important thing for you to teach your children. Look into that ayah, into that Surah Luqman. So among the thing that being said by Luqman to his son. So the Prophet want to make the companion understand the word oppression that in the ayah that they said that we cannot do this. Impossible for us to follow this. So the Prophet want to make them understand that the people that will get peace from Allah, those who believe and doesn't mix their belief with what is the word zulm, meaning. So the Prophet said, didn't you listen to the saying of the good servant of Allah, Luqman, when he said to his son, number 13, Luqman, number 13, Ya bunayya la tushrik billah. Oh my lovable son, don't do any associating anything with Allah. Don't do an association with Allah. Shirk. Inna shirka, because shirk or making association with Allah, with something or anybody, la zulmun azim, is the biggest oppression, the biggest unjust. So the Prophet explaining to the companion that the ayah that they said that we cannot do this because who among us will not do any sin. So the Prophet translated it to them by he's saying, Alladhina amanu, those who have belief. Walam yalbisu imanahum bidhulmin, and they don't mix up their belief with any shirk, with any association towards Allah. Ulaika lahumul amn, those who are people who will get peace from Allah. So from that point, this particular story about that ayah 82 Al-An'am is something that teaching us the way for us to understand the Quran. You know, like I said, even the companion can wrongly understand. You know, when the ayah of Surah An-Nisa, actually I'm telling you surah after surah, nobody is writing. It's okay. Because if I do a quiz, nobody will get any prize. Okay, the ayah 43, Surah An-Nisa, the ayah when Allah Ta'ala give us the meaning about the ayah of about wudu, and also about those who cannot enter the mosque. So that particular ayah, Allah Ta'ala said in that ayah 43, Surah An-Nisa, Allah Ta'ala explaining for us because give them the ayah about tayammum. When you don't get any water, you did learn that you don't have water, but you have to do the ablution, you have to do the wudu, you want to pray. So what you have to do? Allah Ta'ala said in that ayah, faman kana minkum maridan aw ala safarin, whoever doesn't have any water, he actually on a journey, sick, cannot use water, or on a journey, water with you, but if you drink the water, you do ablution with the water, you may die of thirst. So what you have to do? Allah Ta'ala said, fatayammamu sa'idan tayyiba, go towards the dirt or earth that is actually dry earth, that is actually clean, and you have to rub it to your face and your hand. You know the word hand there, the companion understand the word hand is not just here. They understand the hand is the whole hand. You know, if you say somebody his hand cut off, you can actually until here is a palm, but it's still hand. Until here is finger. Until here is what? Here is arm. Here is what? In Arabic they have the word there. We actually, the Malay say all of it is a hand. The man being cut off his hand. From here or here or here, the word is true. But in Arabic, so the companion, when the ayah have been sent them to them, they get the ruling of tayammum. How to do your purification if you don't have the water. You know, when the ayah have been sent them to them, they do the tayammum, take the dirt, rub it to their face, and for the hand, they do it until the armpit, you know, until here. Even though if you read the hadith, the Prophet taught us, you just have to put your hand to the dirt, and you have to make the excess dirt go away. You don't take it and rub it like that. It's not a facial or I say like the spa. Everything is there. No, you don't do something like that. You put your hand to the dirt, and after that, the Prophet even shake his hand. Or some of the narration say that he blow away the excess dirt, and after that he rub it to his face and like this only, not like this. The companion until their armpit. So that is what we say, one of the things concerning understanding the Quran. The Quran is the guidance, but you don't ever become tricked or deceived because in our society There are people that saying that I follow the Quran. I follow the Quran. This is the Quran. But they don't want to hear or listen the explanation of the Quran from the Prophet. So be careful. These days, many people is actually saying that we are follow Quran and that doesn't pray 5 times a day. Follow the Quran, but doesn't cover their aurah. Say follow Quran, but they don't follow the teaching of Islam. This is one type of things that you have to be careful. Because like I said, last Thursday, 2:30, we being visited by a girl. Actually, I wrote a little audio conversation inside my Facebook, and the audio is with me. Brother Rafi sent it to me because the boy that bring the girl to us for that discussion. Actually, the boy asked me permission before the conversation. Can I record? I said, sure, record. It's okay. So I want to make you understand that even though, like, because of that, whenever we start, even the Sheikh, when he start his speech, he will say, "Man yahdihillah fala mudillalah." Whoever being guided by Allah, nobody can be a misguided for him. Wa man yudlil, whoever being misguided, Allah Ta'ala doesn't give guidance, fala hadiyalah, nobody can guide them. Because the guidance of Al-Quran, let me say in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse number 2. Allah Ta'ala said, "Dhalikal kitab la raiba fih hudan lil muttaqin." This book, it means the Quran. There's no doubt about it. La raiba fih hudan lil muttaqin, guidance for those who have fear towards Allah, have piety towards Allah. Because of that, when we look into the teaching of Islam, you have to always look the Quran and search for the meaning from the Sunnah first. This is what our Shaykh always told us, the Sunnah. Because the saying of the Prophet is the first explanation for the Quran. Because when discussion happened between me and that girl, she actually gave me few verses of Al-Quran. That in that verse, like number 114, 115, Surah Al-An'am that we recite just now, 114, 115, that giving the notion that the Quran is complete. Quran is complete. So she start to ask me, what do you mean by complete? I said to her, if you want to know the meaning of that completeness, because you know that if you look into the teaching of Islam, it covers everything. Covers everything. Not only from relationship between you and Allah, but also relationship between you and other human. You cannot say that I just love Allah, I don't care about human. Or you say that I care about human, I don't care about God. Because some people love the earth. Singing, we are the world, we are the children, we are for everybody. You know, people saying that. Even some of them say stopping the deforestation that happening in the world. People actually try to stop everything. You know, they have to conserve their nature. But they don't ever think about who created everything. Because you give your respect to the nature, the one that created the nature, you don't ever think about him. You know that the thing cannot happen accidentally. The tree, all the ecosystem that we have, the biodiversity that we have, cannot ever, unless you actually your IQ is so low, you can say that it actually happened by accident. No, by accident. Because I have a discussion with a boy, he become an agnostic. He actually a good boy because he took the IGCSE, the Cambridge system of education, and he start to, after he passed all the examination, he start to argue with his father. When his father told him to pray, he said, why? I believe in science, I don't believe in religion. He started to say something like that. So the parent asked me to come to his house. So I went there, have a discussion with him around 1.5 hour. Because when we're saying, he said, I believe that we actually from a super bacteria. A bacteria that is so super, can be anything. Can be this and this and that. Because that is the thing. When you have discussion with people who believe in evolution, the Darwin theory, they said that even the giraffe is actually a normal deer. But because the deer want to eat from the tree so high, so the neck become long. Because of the situation, environment. Even like if you look into the cartoon, Minion, the Minion inside the water. Because they are following the boss, the lizard, the fish become a lizard. Because seeing opportunity in the land, so develop feet, and the minion follow it. This thing, you be careful. When you giving this story to be watched by your children, they actually giving the second part, or second opinion about how life begins. How we exist. Because Darwin did give about natural selection, or survival of the fittest, survival of the species. But it's actually all of it being refuted. Within whatever we see around us is so illogical. So they came up with second one. There is actually mutation. The X-Men, the message from the X-Men movie is about you and me, everything evolve. One day you have wings, you will develop gills to sit in the water. You will have everything. You can look through the wall. So this boy, when he believed about that super bacteria, I gave an argument to him. I said, if you look until today, even 2017, 2018, 2017, NASA have given out a statement after long discovery, sending everything outside of our solar system. He said that we are the only living creature in this whole universe. They give that. Right now, they are actually telling that maybe something is there. Maybe something is there. Maybe. But you can see that from the whole, our solar system. Don't go far away. In our solar system, I said to that boy, if you said that we are being created or evolved from a super bacteria, a bacteria so super can be everything, anything. I said, on our solar system, we are the third rock from the sun. The only living creature in this solar system is us, we, the Earth. I said to him, why didn't we get anything from Mars or any other planet? So he said to say, the evolution took million years. I said to him, Mars is not created yesterday. Mars is not created yesterday. It's the same as our planet. At the same time, even the axis or the circle of Mars is almost near with the Earth, not really that far. So why only we have the living things, not the other planet? If you say that evolution, it can create anything. Super bacteria can be anything. I said, why cannot we see anything there and there and there and there? So he actually stumbled and stopped to say anything. And suddenly I said to him, you will evolve after this to have wings. He said, why? I said, because you are from the super bacteria. There can be anything after this. So he actually agitated a little, saying that, are you laughing to the whole science community of the world? I said, yes. Because sometimes things like this, like I said, people start to run away from the teaching of Islam, sometimes because of this. Something that actually not proven, but they don't want to follow the religion, the teaching of Islam. They try to find reason not to follow. Like the girl that we met, she want to say that Qur'an is complete. Qur'an is complete. What do you understand from that ayah, from that surah? He said, I said to her, you give me all the ayah. I will give you one ayah to answer all of it. You can give me 10 ayah from a different surah saying that the Quran is complete. So why should we need the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to explain the Quran to us. Why? So I said, give me all the ayah, I will give you one ayah only. And from that ayah, one ayah, you cannot ever go away. You have to answer me back. So she give two ayah, 114, 115 of Surah Al-An'am. Then I said to her, then if you do you have a Quran with you? Quran. He said, I digital one. I said, okay, open. So I said to her, open Surah An-Nahl, the surah of bee in the Quran. Do you have? Open. No, you don't ever making me just talking. Come, react. Open Surah An-Nahl, B, surah B. Oh, the surah is number 16. The surah number 16. Verse number 44. Verse number 44. So she opened the Quran in her phone, and I guide her. I said to her, listen, look at me, and look at the ayah. I give you translation word per word, so that you don't, wrongly understand the ayah and doesn't get the message. Because you want to say the Quran is complete, so why should we go to the Prophet for explanation? I said, in that ayah, Allah said, wa anzalna, the last part of it, wa anzalna, and we send down, ilaika, to you, hadha wa anzalna ilaika dhikra, ad-dhikra, the Quran, is the Quran. It's actually being mentioned in many surah of the Quran. The word dhikr there, not a reminder, but it's actually the Quran. Like in the surah Hijr, number 9. Allah Ta'ala said, Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra. We are the one that send down the dhikr in the Quran. Wa inna lahu lahafidun, and we for it as the protector. We protect the Quran. Will not be changed ever. The only book in this world that still hold the same recitation, the same surah, the same number of words is the Quran. Other than that, you go into translation. That when the Quran in the 50s, when they want to translate the Quran, the community of the scholars actually have a debate, because they saw what depending to the translation only happened to the Christianity, the Judaism, and any other religion. Well, because when you translate the book from one language to other language, you have the choice of words. And your choice of words may be not really emphasizing every meaning that is there in that ayah. Because of that, we know that in Christianity, such as Christianity, they have version. And the version is so different. Even the few of the verses is being taken out from this version. In that version is you have another. Like the Roman Catholic, they has 72 books, but at the same time the Protestant only 66 book. They taken out 6 books from the original one. They said, because they said that in that is actually not from the Bible. So anyway, because the translation, you depending on the translation, you forget that the words being sent down by Allah, by God at that time, is in the word that the people is using. If the Jew, then Judaism. The Christianity or Jesus Christ at his time is Aramaic, the language that being taught around by them. But he himself is a Jew. But that's a problem there. So when they want to translate the Quran, the debate between the scholars is so high. Some of them say it's not permissible at all, because they're afraid whatever happened to Christendom or Judaism and anything will happen to Islam. You depending on the translation, you forget that is not the word that Allah Ta'ala sent down. So you depend to the translation. But then, and the translator may have a belief. If you go to the people that who have the sound belief, who learn the Arabic and learn everything from the real source, then you can see that the translation is getting you back to the origin, the way the Prophet ﷺ teach us. But if you come into some of translation, like something actually so so weird, but it's happening. We actually depending. Some of us actually saying that from. It's actually what I'm saying here is so logical if you think about it. You know, the Hindus doesn't learn their religion from the Muslim. You know, they don't go to the University of UIA to learn about Hinduism, correct? The Buddhist doesn't go to US to learn about their religion. Is it true? But we Muslim, they have some weird thing. We go to the Western country to learn about religion. We go to Oxford. For the translation there, sometimes not really accurate. Not really accurate as being taught by the Prophet. Even some of it is actually being diverted from the real meaning. So because of that, like I said just now, some of us actually doesn't really know that that is actually, he opened the translation and just see, it's written there. So when I translated the ayah to that sister, I said to her, the ayah that I want to show you that the Prophet must become our reference. In understanding the Quran, you must go, that ayah 44 in Surah Al-Nahl is really clear. So I said to her, follow me. I said, وَأَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ الذِّكْرَ. I said, and we send down to you, O Muhammad, الذِّكْر, the Quran. For what? لِتُبَيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ مَا نُزِّلَ إِلَيْهِمْ, so that you will explain to the people what being sent down to them. So you explain to the human, explain to the people what being sent down to them. It's so clear. You know what? Suddenly she spoke and said, "There's no Muhammad there inside the ayah." I look at her so astonished. What happened to this girl? She want to know, to understand. So I give her the understanding, because all the argument that she brought up, saying that Quran is complete, so you don't have to look other than the Quran to understand the Quran. So I said to her, from the Quran, Allah told us that the Quran being sent down to the Prophet Muhammad SAW, so that he explain to the people whatever being sent down to them. She want to run away. She said, "There's no Muhammad inside there." I said, the proverb ka, wa anzalna ilaika. Ka is you. In our language, English, you. In Malay, kamu, awak, engkau. We send down to you. You in that ayah, I said, is Muhammad. She said, there's no written there. There's no written there. I said to her, when the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's the first one to receive the Quran. When Allah said, Iqra, the first revelation, read. Who is being told to read in that ayah? The first person is the Prophet. How can you say the other person? Do you mean that the car here is actually going back to the Pharaoh or Abu Lahab? She actually, when I said that, she want to run away. Because I know that many people, they say, we follow Quran. But we don't want the explanation of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Really careful about this. Because these days, people, surely, they say that Quran is truth. You know, many evidence from the Quran. We did share with you before. If you really want to read about it, you can buy the book, The Bible, the Quran and Science, written by Maurice Bucaille. He's a French surgeon. He's actually the surgeon that being given the privilege to be the one that dissect the body of Pharaoh. When the body of Pharaoh that run or Exodus that chased after Moses being found in the 70s. It's not being found at the time of the Prophet Muhammad SAW. It's being found in the 70s. So the body being brought to French. You know, even when the body came at the airport, they received it with the firing of the you know, like a king. A king came to the land. They greeting the body with that type of greeting. You know, all the army is there because this is the king that chased after Moses, been drowned. So he actually, Morris Bukai is the guy that been given privilege to dissect. You know, if he been given that type of honor, means that he's somebody in the French country at that time, until he embraced Islam. So actually, that guy, he left out his profession as the surgeon for 10 years to learn about Islam, because he feel weird that the Muslim is the only people in this world that is really following the teaching of their religion, really hold fast to the teaching. By others, actually already lefting out, don't follow anymore. Even my one of my neighbor, maybe I did told the story about him. When I do the akikah for my daughter, so I invite him. He's actually a Hindu. I invite him to come to my house. We are actually slaughtering. I said to him, come, we actually have a feast, akikah for my daughter. So come, eat with us. We actually, then I explained, we actually slaughtering sheep, not cow. Suddenly he said, it's okay, anything can. Even though his neighbor, you know, said to me, told a story to me that when he entered his house for the first time, the Hindus will bring 2 cows to enter every room to bless the house. But when the day I told him, come, we slaughter sheep, not cow, suddenly he said to me, cow is okay. So, you know, not following the Muslim. You know, Dr. Morris Bukai, when he actually think about that, he actually saw the king of Saudi Arabia, Malik Faisal, one of the known king of Saudi Arabia. They're actually so helping to spread the religion, Malik Faisal bin Abdul Aziz. So this king was under his care at one time. So he feel weird because the king is praying same prayer like his servant, his bodyguard. His bodyguard there praying with the king. So he actually astonished. Why? What happened? This guy is the richest person in the world at that time. In the 60s, when petroleum, the oil, found in Saudi Arabia, the king of Saudi is the richest person in the world. But this guy is still praying. He said, what happened to them? So he actually tried to understand it, and he want to know what is evidence of the Qur'an from God. What is actually the Qur'an talking about what? So people told him that the Qur'an talking about many things. The first of creation and everything, and about the earth, about the tree, about land. He said, I got my topic to refute the Qur'an. So he left out his profession as a surgeon. Like I said, he's a renowned surgeon because the French government will not give him to dissect the body of Pharaoh, except he is actually somebody. But when he go into leaving his profession and start to learn Arabic and the Quran for 10 years, he said, I doesn't want to know from the Muslim. Maybe they will change it, the meaning to what he like. So I want to learn myself. For 10 years, he left out his profession. And after that, the book, the Bible, the Quran and science, actually being written. It's being translated into English in 1976. 76. But the original book is in French. So if you really want to know the evidence is still is there. You want to check the evidence. You know, because like I said, many people these days want to run away from the religion using science. But actually, science doesn't contradict the religion. Whatever you know about the earth, about the sky, about the cloud, everything, there's nothing in the Quran teaching you to believe in there is somebody there holding the lightning, lightning that the Thor, or no such thing, no myth in the Quran. Everything being explained clearly. So like I said to that girl, I said to her, yeah, why do you want to run away from the explanation of the Quran, from the Prophet? Because that ayah, particular ayah, 44, Surah An-Nahl, really explaining about how to understand the Quran. Related to the story that I told you about the companion doesn't understand the word zulm, oppression, oppress, or unjust. That they understood it wrongly, the Prophet correct them. Because you cannot understand the Quran without him. That's why when you do your shahada, there's two words you have to utter. The first one is Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. I bear witness there's no God worthy to worship except Allah. The second one, Wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. And I bear witness that Muhammad is messenger of Allah. That particular words is actually meaning that everything that you want to follow in honoring the one that created you, created everything, you must follow the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You can run away from that. When you want to understand the meaning of the Quran, like I said, the companion do their tayammum until the armpit. But the Prophet show us, he said until here only. So the explanation about the hand, how far is the hand that being the man inside that ayah, is actually related to the explanation of Prophet sallallahu. Because of that, you know that when you want to do anything inside this religion, like Allah said, aqimus salah, prevail or do your prayer, salah. You cannot run away from following the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because the Prophet did say to us, sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli. There, being written there. Pray as you see me pray. Means that how many raka'ah, how many prayer in daily prayer, what you should recite, where is your hand to be put, everything must be followed through the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because this is fundamental, like I said, fundamental things that sometimes in our time today, people running away. They don't want to follow the Quran exactly like being taught by the Prophet. They said the Quran is complete. So she said to me, so are you saying that the Quran is not complete? Because you need Muhammad to explain it to you? She said to me. I said, the Quran itself telling me and you that the one that explaining the Quran is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wa anzalna ilayka dhikra, and we send down to you, oh Muhammad. You there is Muhammad, not you there, me and you. No, really? How can? Wa anzalna ilayka dhikra litubayna, so that you explain to the people ma nuzila ilayhim, whatever being sent down to them. It's really clear cut. But she started to run away. She said, there's no Muhammad there. So I said, is that ayah, the word dhikr? I said, revisit that ayah. The word dhikr there, what does this mean? She said Quran. I said, where does the Quran being mentioned there? She started to, here in the translation. In the translation is written. But the word dhikr itself, like I said, reminder. A dhikr or tadhkirah is reminder. Like we have in Ramadan, after our night prayer, our Shaykh will always give Ramadan reminder. Tadhkirah Ramadan. So the dhikr mean that. If your friend reminding you, is that the Quran? It can be your friend advising you, don't do this, don't do that. It's a reminder. Slow, bro. Don't very fast. He's reminding you, is it the Quran? I said to her. Then she suddenly she said that I'm arrogant. Because always reminding about the Arabic. I said, if you want to cook French cooking, you get a book, French cooking book. You give to a person that doesn't understand French. And you want him to cook like the French cook. I said, can it possibly happen? You know, the bread, croissant? It is so fluffy and so fine. Can you give that person who doesn't know French to cook the same thing if he doesn't understand? She start to think. But at that time, she start to think that I actually cornering her, stopping her to run away. Because I just mentioned one ayah. I said, one ayah is enough to answer all your problem. Because you want to say Quran is enough. You don't need the Prophet. Then I will give you evidence that the Quran itself telling you, you have to return to the Prophet to know what being told to you. If you want to read in the Quran, Allah Ta'ala said, Ati'ullah wa ati'ur Rasul. Ati'ullah, obey Allah. Wa ati'ur Rasul, and obey the Prophet. How can you obey the Prophet if you're not following his teaching? It's explanation about the Quran. How can you practice the Islam without him? Because Allah Ta'ala, then she doesn't really want to go into that. I said, if you are a math teacher, so I want you to teach mathematics to students. Should I give you all the detail, or is enough for you to I give you the syllabus? He said the syllabus, enough. Don't have to mention everything. Yeah, don't have to. I said, if inside that syllabus, things that you don't know, like I said, calculus. Actually, one from the subject of math is calculus. I myself doesn't know what is calculus. my wife is actually a mathematics teacher. So the word calculus is there. I know it's there. But the problem is, so I asked her, if you don't know calculus, should I explain it to you, or you just understand by yourself? Then she start to think, yes, because I told you to do something. The things that you understand, okay, alhamdulillah. So, but things that you don't understand, should I explain it to you, or I leave it to you to understand by yourself? She started to think that I'm cornering her. She said, it's not the same. I said, it's the same. That's why the word Allah Ta'ala said, the Quran is complete. That we have give the detail for everything inside the Quran, because it will teach you where should you get the answer. You cannot understand it by yourself. You must go into, because the Quran, some of it you can understand it. The Arabs understand it directly. But some of it need the explanation of the Prophet. Like I said, they do the tayammum until their armpit. But the Prophet explained to them, and they also, like Umar bin Khattab. Caliph Umar, the one of the best companion of the Prophet ﷺ, become the caliphs after Abu Bakar. You know, from his understanding, the tayammum, the purification using earth, dry earth, essentially can only replace the wudu for him. He understands it like that. But cannot replace the bathing. Means that when you purify yourself, they have two types of purification. Remember or not? Not remember. Because you have things that will stop the legitimacy of your prayers. Two things. One is najas, one is hadath. Najas, something that can see physically, means that there's I say in Arabic I know, in Malay I know, in English I don't know. Tahi, feces, or your pee, your urine on your body. That will stop on your body, on your clothes, or your place of your for you to pray. If there's something there, your prayer will not validate. It's not be accepted by Allah. You have to clean yourself. So this one thing. The second one is actually hadath. The hadath is not sin. You know, if I fart, I have wudu, I fart. So I want to pray, I have to go and take ablution again. Because my wudu already batal, invalidate. I have to do that. But can you see in my face that my wudu is not there anymore? Written here, kentut. No. Nothing be written there. Nothing be written. If you don't, and if the second one, the big one, the small one, you can do it with wudu. The big one, you have to do with bathing. You have to take a bath. If you don't take a bath, nobody will know about that. So I said to so when there's no water, that's the tayammum will come into the topic. You don't have any water, or you cannot use the water. You can use the dirt. Just put your hand, rub and take away the excess dirt, and after that, place it in your face and on your hand, on your face and your hand. Enough. But Umar understood this can only substituting the wudu, cannot substitute the bathing. For him, he think like that. Because a person came to him and asked, Ya Amirul Mu'minin, I have junub. I have to get bath, but no water. I cannot use water. I don't have any water. What should I do? Umar said, wait until you get water and you take a bath and you pray. If not, don't pray. Ammar bin Yasir, one of the companions of the Prophet, is with him at that time. He said, Ya Amirul Mu'minin, don't you remember when the Prophet ﷺ sent us for a mission? We go out together, and at that night, both of us actually having our semen get out from our body. So we both is not clean, unclean to do the prayer. So you have to take a bath. There's no water. You don't pray. I myself, golek. I roll on the land and I pray. Don't you remember that? So Umar keep quiet. So but when we get back to Medina, I told the Prophet. Then the Prophet said, "It's enough for you to do like this with your hand, face, and there." So the explanation of the Prophet is actually, you must get the explanation. If you don't get the explanation from the Prophet, how can you understand? You can wrongly understand. So like whatever the opinion that Umar have, comparing what the Prophet ﷺ told Ammar, will make whatever Umar understand invalidate. So when Ammar said that, Umar, because he didn't listen directly from the Prophet, he said, Ittaqillah, be fear towards Allah. What are you telling? So Ammar said, if you don't like me from telling this story, I will shut up, and I will not tell anybody. Umar said, no. We believe you, whatever being believed to you by the Prophet. But still, he actually choosing the opinion because he didn't listen it directly from the Prophet. So that is one of example that you need the Prophet to understand whatever you want to do in this religion. To get the favor of Allah, for Allah to please with you, you must follow the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah Ta'ala said in the Quran, in Surah Ali Imran, verse number 31. Allah Ta'ala said, Qul, say, O Muhammad. Allah Ta'ala said, say, O Muhammad. You cannot say, O Abu Lahab. No, say, O Muhammad. Qul, in kuntum tuhibbun Allah. If you all love Allah. You all love Allah. Then say to them, Fattabi'uni. Follow me. Follow me. Who is me there? Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you follow, yuhibbukumullah. Allah Ta'ala will surely love you. Wa yaghfir lakum dunubakum. And Allah Ta'ala will forgive you all your sin. Wallahu ghafurur rahim. Verily Allah is really forgiving and also having so merciful. So that this one of the many ayah in the Quran telling you have to follow the way you want to practice the religion, must follow Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So inshallah we'll stop here. Any question? Yeah. Assalamualaikum. The nafkah that in Islam for wife is actually relating three things. The place to stay, food and drinks, and clothing. That is the basic. Other than that, just taking for vacation and everything is not inside that things. Even for your wife to go to Hajj is on her own money. If not obligated for you to gather money for her. If you love her, yes, alhamdulillah. If not, then not obligated. Food and drinks, place to stay, and also the clothing that she needs. That is the three things that basic for we say nafkah, expenses that a husband must make sure for the wife. And even the wife can go to the court, complain that the husband doesn't give anything of that. I know where if you look into the story about the artists these days, they want to divorce and everybody is talking. The wife said the expenses she need is actually $500,000. That is actually not from Islamic perspective. The Islamic perspective is actually three things. That is related to three things. It's not really you say that other expenses about that. Other than that, it's not obligated upon the husband.
So, for example, let's say that I agree with my future wife that we share expenses in the housing, food, maybe clothing, like 50-50. If my future wife accepts it, it is considered that I'm not complying with my nafkah responsibilities.
No, okay. If the wife willingly to let go of her right, that is her right. You know, to get everything from the husband, not paying at all, anything, that is her right. But if she said that is okay, I want to share with you, I will love you and everything, it's okay, then it's permissible. Not then, and the husband is not considered neglecting the nafkah. It's not considered that, because the husband is actually must get the wife must agree with the request from the husband, or the wife willingly want to do that. This is really from 10 years back. This something happened in the society, Muslim society. The word nikah misyar. Actually, nikah, that the woman is so rich, the husband doesn't have anything. But the wife said, I don't care. I don't want anything, expenses. You just marry me. Just become my husband. So some of the scholars said, how can this be? Because the men have to become the pillar, the breadwinner for the house, so that the wife must obey him. But when the situation happened like that, so can the husband, like I said, the wife, let go everything of her right? Can she do that? So most of the scholars said it's actually on her. It's actually for her to do that. And if you look into the story of the companion, even the Prophet ﷺ, he himself, his wife Khadijah is the one who is rich. He himself is not rich. And his companion, from what we read in the hadith, like Ibn Mas'ud radhiyallahu anhu, he's a poor person, but his wife is actually rich. So when the Prophet ﷺ told women to give out alms, charity, so the wife want to bring some of her property to the Prophet ﷺ. So Ibn Mas'ud said, I am eligible to get that. You can give it to me. The wife said, no. I will go to the Prophet first. So when she met the Prophet and told the story, what being said by Ibn Mas'ud, the Prophet said, if you give your husband, because the husband is poor, if you give your husband, you get two rewards. The reward of zakat and the reward of your relationship with your husband. So meaning that she can, let go of her right, and the husband will not consider as neglecting. But to be a man, you have to be a man, to hold off everything in the family. You have to be a man up. Don't rely on your wife, even though your wife is really rich. not to do that, eating from, say piggyback the wife for everything. No, we don't do that. But if the wife say it's okay, then it's okay. Not consider as neglecting, inshallah.
Because I saw also in some Islamic household, the husband just give cash, and then for the wife to
manage everything.
So that also is considered paying a nafkah, right?
Yeah, nafkah.
Oh, okay.
Actually, they said in Japanese country, in Japan, the Japanese people, they get any salary, give it to the wife. The wife is actually managing everything. I heard that. Wallahu alam. Most often true. But the wife is actually managing everything because men can get money, but they can buy some ridiculous thing. Allahu alam. Okay, we stop here inshallah. Our time already.
Thank you.
Wallahu a'lam. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa sallam alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi